All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're talking about something that can feel, well, really personal and super isolating. It's this idea of being a broken polymath. You know that feeling? Where the very thing that makes you special, your incredible range of skills and passions, starts to feel less like a superpower and more like a heavy weight you're dragging around.
Does that hit home for you? This idea of having, all these different versions of yourself. You're competent here, you're capable there, but there's just no single thread tying it all together. It's this feeling of being fragmented inside. And honestly, so many incredibly talented people feel this way.
So, I'm going to ask you straight up. Do your greatest strengths sometimes feel like your biggest burden? Are you that person who's good at a bunch of things, but you're just exhausted from the mental whiplash of switching gears all the time? Maybe you feel like nobody really gets the full scope of what you can do. If any of that sounds familiar, then you are absolutely in the right place.
Okay, so first things first, let's actually put a name to this thing. What does it mean to be a broken polymath? And this is so important. This is not some personal failing. It's not something you did wrong. It's a recognized state, and just giving it a name, well, that's the first step to figuring out how to move forward.
Let's really dig into this definition for a second. The key thing to notice here is that it's not about a lack of skills. You've got the skills. The problem is what it calls a disruption of integrative capacity. So what does that mean? Basically, your ability to connect the dots between all your different talents has been broken. It's like having a bunch of amazing ingredients, but the recipe that combines them into a single amazing dish has been torn up. And this is fascinating because it shows the problem isn't just in your head. It's hitting you from all sides, right? Ontologically, that's about your very sense of self, your identity. It feels fractured. Phenomenologically, that's your lived experience. You feel exhausted. You feel disconnected. Then there's the systemic part. The world outside, like our jobs, just isn't set up for people with broad skills. And functionally, well, all of this makes it incredibly hard to actually use your knowledge and just feel good.
Okay, so if this brokenness isn't a one-size-fits-all thing, what does it actually look like day to day? To really figure out how to move forward, we've got to first identify our own specific fracture points. It's like mapping the terrain before you start the journey.
Yeah, a good way to think about this is in terms of archetypes. These are just common patterns, common ways this feeling shows up. And seeing which one resonates with you can be a total game changer because it helps you pinpoint exactly where things are breaking down. And once you know that, well, then you can find the right tools for the job. So let's look at a couple of these. First up, the shattered bridge. This is you if your skills are amazing, but they're stuck in their own silos. They just don't talk to each other. Or maybe you're more of an isolated island. You see how it all connects, you have the vision, but you're completely alone in it. There's no community, no one around you who gets it. Or hey, maybe one of these next two hits closer to home. How about the overgrown garden? This is when you have so many interests, so many projects starting all the time that it's just a chaotic mess and nothing ever actually grows to its full potential. Then you've got the starved node. And this one's tough. This is when your creative energy, your spark is just gone. Sapped by burnout or just the day-to-day struggle to get by. And the list goes on, really. You've got the masked chameleon who's so busy fitting into different boxes that they lose track of who they really are. The burnt archive, wow. This is when burnout gets so bad you feel like you're literally losing your knowledge. And the silenced translator who's just done trying to explain themselves because it's just too exhausting. Okay, so identifying the problem is huge. It really is, but that's not where we're stopping. Now let's pivot from diagnosis to action. Let's talk about a real, hopeful plan for how to start putting the pieces back together. The key thing to remember is that this is a process. It's not a quick fix. Step one is diagnosis. That's what we've been talking about, figuring out your specific fracture points. Then comes stabilization. This is all about creating some breathing room for yourself, some safe space to heal. After that, we have rehabilitation. This is where you start to gently, on small projects, reconnect those skills. And finally, the goal, reintegration, finding a spot in the world where all of you is not just accepted, but actually celebrated. And I really want to hammer this point home. This is not about fixing some flaw in you. Your incredible breadth of skill, that's not a bug, it's a feature. The real work here is about building a support system for yourself, a system that actually nurtures your natural way of being. Think of it like this. You're not trying to change the plant, you're just building a better trellis for it to climb. Which brings us to the final section, and honestly, the most exciting part of all this. What's the end game here? What is the ultimate goal? What does it actually feel like to go from being fragmented to being truly integrated?
It really boils down to this powerful little phrase: shift from prove to serve. Think about it. So much of our energy gets wasted trying to prove to everyone that our weird mix of skills is valuable. The real breakthrough comes when you stop trying to justify yourself and start using that unique mix to serve others, to solve real problems. When you do that, your value becomes self-evident. You don't have to explain it anymore.
And that is the goal. It's not about shrinking yourself or forcing yourself into one little box. It's about becoming more whole. It's about taking all those different pieces, all those many selves we talked about at the beginning, and weaving them into one powerful, coherent force that can go out and do something amazing in the world that only you can do. So I want to leave you with one last big question. Because while this journey is deeply personal, the problem isn't just on us, it's systemic. So the real question is, how do we build a world that doesn't fracture its polymaths, but actually fosters them? How do we create jobs and communities and cultures that see our breadth not as a liability, but as the incredible asset it is? Because a world that figures that out, well, that's a better, more innovative world for every single one of us. Thanks so much for joining me.